Going over to the cultural part podcast, you have Matt Walsh noting that Trump is restoring some military bases and their names, specifically one such as named Robert E. Lee. Now, this brought us thanks to Matt Walsh on X. He's responding to the New York Post. The New York Post said, quote, Trump orders names restored to military bases honoring Robert E. Lee and other Confederate leaders. Now, Matt Walsh responded saying, quote, Robert E. Lee was a man of great honor and integrity, qualities that his modern critics can't comprehend. He was given a choice between taking up his sword against his home and community and his family or standing beside them in battle. He chose the latter. Any reasonable person can understand why he made that choice, unquote. And this is, I think, Matt's most viral tweet of the month. It got 2.8 million views as well as 27,000 likes. Matt Walsh continued and he commented saying, quote, Lee didn't enter the war to defend slavery and Lincoln didn't enter the war to abolish it. That's one of the most basic realities of the Civil War that somehow escapes almost everyone in the modern age, unquote. It got 6.8 thousand likes for that specific comment, which, yeah, people forget. Oh, yeah, less than 1.9% Americans owned slaves in the United States at that time. People seem to forget those statistics, but I partially digress. One of the other top comments come to us thanks to Ryan. He says, quote, Trump is giving credit to real heroes of America. The woke names they had will never come back. Getting 75 likes, which I'm surprised. There's a lot of merchandise around the whole Alex Jones was right, which the only thing more concerning, I was gonna say, it's interesting to see how many times he's been proven right throughout the years. Let's just say those put the dollar in the Alex Jones was right jars, they are overflowing with funds. As far as they don't have the same thing for Trump, because he famously said years ago, if you tear down historical statues of Confederate soldiers and leaders, eventually they'll go after all the statues. And lo and behold, they did. Chicago famously got rid of the Thomas Jefferson statue out of the main courthouse, the main administrative building for the government. They later put it back after mass protest, but in other cases, they tore down, Frederick Douglass and other famous historical leaders. And yeah, there's no limit to the pure insanity of leftism in 1984 fashion. Now, going back to the top comments, you have Hamas, top guy, says, quote, turns on MSNBC, and Gal saying, quote, General Robert E. Lee was a traitor to the Union, gave 479 likes. Some person, I was going to say, that's a pretty generic name, or specific. It's very accurate. It is, in fact, some person. Although that's just what AI would want us to think. We'll say this alleged some person claims, quote, I'm a supremacist, but I don't exactly revere Robert E. Lee. You, on the other hand, are seemingly a civic nationalist, but revere him. I don't get it. Slavery is more abhorrent. This person is right. He says, I want black out of my country, but would never enslave him. Gave 59 likes and 80 responses. Was he ratioed? DJ Engel responded saying, quote, LOL, what an internet take. Robert E. Lee fought for the Virginia he loved. That's ancient standard of nobility, getting 113 likes. So as the youth might say, he was certainly, that's best snap. Ratioed. There we go. I was about to say I have many skill sets. Snapping is not one of them, but I should be honest. I have not many. I have some skill sets. You got Logan Hall saying, quote, Eisenhower called Robert E. Lee one of the 4 greatest Americans in history. In which he says, quote, anyone who ever tries to push me in any other relationship with respect to Robert E. Lee is mistaken. Gained 1.3 thousand likes. That guy says, I'm related to Lee. He had more choices. He could have not taken up arms. He chose and he picked the traitor's side. He lost. History remembers the winners and losers. Gained 516 likes. Blakely says, quote, anyone defending the traitors to the Union like Robert E. Lee were also traitors. Are also traitors. Bad grammar on my part. Or lack of ability to read. Either way, that got 1.1 thousand likes. Pregnant Redhead says, quote, Trump's right to restore history, not erase it. Getting 55 likes. Steel Dan Maximist says, quote, Robert E. Lee was an incredibly complex and interesting man. I have a lot of respect for him. Getting 218 likes. Hank says, quote, understanding Lee's choices require a basic theory of mind, a concept that leftism cannot define, let alone possess. Getting 370 likes. Ford? Bacon? Pretty unique name. Kind of weird, though I don't have much ground to stand on. Now, he says, quote, Matt Walsh cries every day about the Confederacy losing the Civil War, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Which, I followed Matt for a couple years on the X. I think he's mentioned 3 or 4 tweets about it throughout the years. You also have Ed Clinton Jr. saying, quote, he was a racist and a traitor who defended a human chattel slavery. He was also the rebels' best commander, not a hero. Gained 28 likes. AH says Robert E. Lee was a traitor who took up arms against the United States in defense of slavery. This is a fact, getting 150 likes. A rare instance where I think a majority of the comments are ratioing Matt Walsh. Socrates 2023 says there's no honor supporting the enslavement of God's children, none, from the original version of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free. That is how they were on a holy crusade. God won, getting 164 likes. Which, kind of the cliche of the age-old argument would be defending your house, your family, your community, especially when the North was using the tactic of scorched earth. So literally when they took over town, they burned everything to the ground from houses to crops. So anyone left would surely starve to death. But yeah, I was going to say, I think Matt Walsh is ratioed beyond all belief. At least majority of comments are against him. But yeah, I think it's definitely a mistake to erase history, as anyone who read George Orwell's novels such as 1984 and Animal Farm would, I would suspect, agree with, because age-old saying is those who forget history are bound to repeat it. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think we should permanently change all these buildings, all these institutions, and just kind of erase that part of history? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.